Hello and welcome back to Normal Guy Games. If you haven't seen my Tyranid painting scheme video yet, now's a good time. I'll put a link in the description. So the real question is, how many Tyranids can I achieve in a given amount of time using that method? Well, let's find out. So getting down to business, obviously the first thing that I'm going to do is hit it with the Carroburg Crimson Wash. Now this is in the original steps. I have eliminated a few things. I didn't do any of the sponging of the purple. I eliminated the black dots and modeling on some of the skin, and I've kind of simplified a few things just to make it go a little bit quicker. So this is, of course, the first stage. Now with this, I am just kind of slapping it on there and I'm letting it pool in a couple of areas, and I'm not too worried about that because the dry brush step will bring it all together and make it look very uniform. Now I did not do a second coat on the guns this time because I felt like that was just kind of unnecessary, and it's not going to really add or subtract anything. But as you can see here, one at a time, down they go, Carroburg Crimson. Easy enough. This step seems tedious, but it's not too bad. Now, the second step, I did kind of alter things here just to change things up. On some of them, I put the purple down first. On others, which is the Shaiish purple. On others, I put the Volupus pink first. And depending on how you do it, that really depends on how it turns out. Now, if you just slap the Volupus pink on top of the Shaiish purple, it will actually kind of dilute the Shaiish purple, and it will sort of spread out a little bit and create that transition effect. If you put the Volupus pink down first, it makes an entirely different, it puts an entirely different look on the exoskeleton. So as you can see, one at a time, there they go, and you can tell if you just kind of glance at them, I did mix it up a little bit. Now onto the dry brushing step. This is Sorcerous Mist, and I just kind of slapped it on the highest areas. I really wasn't worried about making it too uniform, too neat. And on these guys, this is just a bunch of Termagants. It's not, they're not a special unit, they're not a named unit, they're not an HQ. There's going to be tons of these guys. So one at a time, we drop them down, dry brush them a little bit, and this step was probably, I would say, the easiest out of all of them because just getting a little bit of paint on these guys was not too bad. Now moving on to the Jade dry brush. Now this is against the grain on the carapace, on the exoskeleton, and the whole point of it is to, as you can see, one by one, just build up a little bit of green on the edges just to break up all of that pink and purple and red that's going on the model. And this step is important to change the overall color of it. You could, if you wanted to, just skip this step and that would be fine. You could leave it at the pink and the purple and it would still look good. And then progressively, as you can see from my palette there, I am adding a little bit of Maggot White to the Jade just to lighten it up. And you can see that's one of my originals and the new ones as well. Now the new ones, obviously, I've altered the steps a little bit and changed things, and I'm batch painting here, so I'm doing as much as I can, as quickly as I can. And then another step you can do, this is not necessary, but you can go back, thin down some of that Shaiish purple, paint in the claws, paint in the hooves, and any other, odd or strange details. Now for the basing, I went with the GW Agrellan Earth, the crackle paste, and I actually ran out of it. We'll worry about that later. But this step is optional as well. I wanted all of them to have that Eldari Emerald, kind of a green crackle texture, and I didn't feel like making my own at the moment. And then this step obviously is taking the black, and I may look like a psychopath here painting straight out of the pot, but that pot has been thinned down only for painting the rims. Now this step is, again, this is optional. This is the dry brushing of the Eldari Emerald base, and of course, aptly named Alien Goo. This is one of my favorite really bright paints. So what I did here, as you can see, it's just a light dry brush. You're really not doing anything other than adding a little bit of color, a little bit of extra color to the base itself. And this is what they look like. This is how they turn out in the end. You can see the difference between the new ones and the old one, and it doesn't really make that much of a difference, but as you see I'm pointing out, you can go back and also do the little vents or fins or whatever the hell those things are, the nasty little openings. I actually just took some Eldari Emerald and I just threw that in the recesses. It took about 30 seconds per model, so it's not really that big of a step. Anyway, once that's done, if you want to do that step, it turns out looking pretty good. It took me a little bit less than 3 hours to do 20 Termagants and the Ripper Swarms. So I think that's not bad. I mean, that's not bad at all. For 22 models, under 3 hours, that's pretty good progress. Anyway, I just wanted to demonstrate how quick the method is, and thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I really appreciate it. We'll see you next video.